You can't judge a man's will.
Yes, sir.
You can't measure a man's will. When a man get the will that y'all guys have, the sky's the limit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The only thing can stop us is us.
Yes, sir.
Okay? So we gonna get better though.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but I tell you what, you all have hearts of challenge.
Yes, sir.
And the heart of a lion.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Y'all gonna understand. Tell them to bring me my money.
That is Coach Sam Washington hyping up the Aggies after they beat East Carolina, which is a money game, saying, show me my money. And this is the new episode of IDK Sports Pod. Just wanted to get y'all started off with a little bit of motivation. I think that's one of the best quotes I ever heard in my life. Show me my money. But this is IDK Sports Pod. This is your boy Anthony back with another episode. Don't forget to follow us at IDK Sports Pod 23 on Instagram, and we can be found anywhere where podcasts are, on Apple Pod, Spotify. Don't forget the subscription button or the follow button so you can get any time that we upload any content to the pod. This week, big week in football, especially college football. The conference championship picture is taking place, and the college football playoffs is starting. And also in black college football, the SWAC championship was this weekend. The winner of the SWAC championship goes to the Celebration Bowl to face Howard. So big week in college football. Got some good pro games. We'll talk a little bit about pro football too, but we're really gonna hone in on this college football playoffs and the committee, recruiting, transfer portal. We're gonna really do a little bit of that today because we're getting towards the end, and we're gonna talk about the landscape of college football today, with the new rules, with new transfer rules. How did it work out? New coaches got fired. Let's just talk college football all together. We got a whole conference that got dismantled. So, we're going to talk a little college football, a little pro sports. So, getting straight into the pod, as far as conference championships go, has a lot of conference championship games today. I think the Conference USA, we had Tulane, the prohibited favorites, 22 ranked team in the nation, lost to SMU in the conference championship game to lose the Conference USA championship game at their home stadium. Also, the Big 12 championship game was played today. Texas wins their first Big 12 championship since 2010. That's the Colt McCoy years, back when they went to the championship game and lost to Alabama. Speaking of Alabama with a big upset over number 1 ranked Georgia, breaks their 22-game win streak, and now are looking to see if they can get in the college football playoffs. But they did win the SEC championship on Friday. The Pac-12 championship was won by Washington, having their first 13-0 season. Michael Penix, my personal favorite for the Heisman Trophy winner, behind Jaden Daniels. But we'll see how that goes. But shout out to Washington for winning the Pac-12 championship. Right now, as I speak, you got Florida State playing Louisville. Florida State is up 10-3. Kind of a tough task. They had a great season, but their quarterback Jordan Travis is out for the year, at the end of the year, and I think they got a true freshman start against Louisville, but they're trying to hold on to beat Louisville in the ACC championship game in Charlotte. Who else played today? I think Michigan also played today in theirs. I think they won. I just want to see about how much. Are they up? They're up 20-0 going into the fourth quarter over Iowa. No surprise there. Liberty won the Conference USA championship over New Mexico State. So Tulane lost the American Conference, to SMU. And also in the HBCU world, FCS, Florida A&M Rattlers just moved to the SWAC 3 years ago and has won the SWAC championship and has won the ticket and the right to go play Howard at the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta. So shout out to the Rattlers down there in Florida, and all the conference champions that solidified and won their season with a championship this year. Howard had already solidified the MEAC with having no conference championship game, winning their first conference title since 1993. 30 years ago. That's a long time. So let's talk about a little bit what the conference championship titles mean, right? So let's talk about a little bit of FBS, right? The big thing is that Alabama beat Georgia in the conference committee just sitting in their room just they don't know what to do now. Georgia lost. That makes things a lot more complicated. So now Alabama is sitting there with only one loss to the University of Texas, who's a conference champion of the Big 12. And now you got Florida State, who looked really good when they had their quarterback, don't have their quarterback, but if they hold on, they'll be an undefeated ACC champion. Michigan look like they're going to win the Big Ten and be an undefeated champion in the Big Ten. So Michigan is in. Washington is definitely in. Now it's down to the last two spots. Does Texas get in with Georgia losing? I think so. And then that fourth spot is going to come down to like preference. So it'll come down to preference. I mean, Florida State with Jordan Travis, it would be no question. But when Jordan Travis got hurt, it made things complicated because right now, college football playoffs are supposed to be about the best 4 teams, which I think is a crock of bull, but I think Florida State should get in regardless. But it's supposed to be for the best 4 teams. And the best 4 teams right now, in my opinion, right now in college football are Michigan, Washington, Texas, Alabama. But if Florida State wins the ACC championship, it's never been a Power 5 champion stuck looking on the outside in. You know, so will they not have the SEC in it this year? Maybe not. Me personally, I don't see how you could do it, but you know, we've seen crazier things. I don't see how you can penalize Florida State for still having an undefeated season and being a Power 5 champion, and you let Alabama jump them just because they're in the SEC. Granted, I do think they played a harder schedule, and beating Georgia means a lot. But the week before, the committee put them at number 8, so they're gonna jump from 8 to 4. You know, so and you can't put Alabama in without putting Texas in. Texas has to get in. Texas beat Alabama head to head. Went to Alabama and beat Alabama. It wasn't just like they beat them neutral site, beat them on their home field. They beat Alabama at Alabama. So that's gonna be something to see. I personally think your top 4, if Florida State wins out, has to be Michigan at 1, Washington at 2, Florida State at 3, and Texas at 4. Has to be. Because you can't put Alabama in over a Power 5 champion that went undefeated. They still went undefeated. You know. A little bit other things around college football news. I mean, all my West Coast fans, I guess it's gotta let the Pac-12. Pac-12 is gone. Friday solidified the end of the Pac-12 with Oregon, Washington, USC, and UCLA heading to the playoff, heading to the Big Ten. And then Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah heading to the Big 12. Leaving it with just 2 schools, Oregon State and Washington State, basically changing the whole dynamic of college football, changing it from the Power 5 to the Power 4. You know what I'm saying? Nobody, and I forgot, Cal and Stanford is going to the ACC. So, you got the Pac-12 as we know it, who had memories of the USC teams, Reggie Bush teams, has some good UCLA teams. The Oregon teams, that was really good. There's no more Pac-12 football in Washington State, and them just sitting out there. It's out there all alone. There's no other conference wanted them. No Power 5 wanted them. Big Ten didn't want either one. Big 12 didn't want either one. ACC was not prepared to pull the trigger. So it looks like Washington State and Oregon State are going to have to go down to group of 5 schools or group of 6 if you make a new conference. But it's kind of like the end of an era, you know. And the funny thing about it, when you think about it, the Pac-12 started the expansion. They stole teams from the Big 12. Colorado from the Big 12. Arizona not Arizona, but Colorado was in the Big 12. They stole Utah from the Mountain West. You know, they started the expansion from when they was at the Pac-7, and they got up to 12 teams. And the same thing that they started ended up being their demise. That's just like some real irony. Not irony, but like, I don't want to say poetic justice. I can't think of the word right now. It's kind of late, but that's crazy that they started it and then it ended up being their demise. I mean, no more true West Coast football, which brings me to my other point that conferences, the whole landscape of college football, especially on the Power 5 FBS level, has changed. Conferences don't mean as much as they used to, because when you had conferences, you had regional influence. Like, you knew, like USC, Oregon, all them in the Pac-12, it was mostly California kids, you know, kids from California, kids from the Midwest, you know, people knew each other. It was like a regional influence. The Big 12 was the Southwest land. SEC is the Southeast. Big 10 was Midwest. ACC had the East Coast. Like, you had regional influence, which made the games that much more because most of the players were from the area. But I don't see how you keep the same regional, not the same regional, but same enthusiasm when you got Cal flying across country to play ACC schools, along with Stanford, along with you got SMU in the ACC now. How are you the Atlantic Coast Conference when Cal is on the Pacific Coast? It's like a bad Birdman ending to a song, like Atlantic Pacific, that is. Like, you know, it sounds like a rap lyric. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have the Midwest Conference, the Big 10, that pride themselves on the Midwest with 2 California schools. The SEC is the only one keeping it kind of regional. Texas and them is still in the South. SEC don't really have any schools out of the southern border, so it's kind of still got that conference regional feel. That's why their games feel like it means more, because Louisiana kids versus Alabama kids, you know, Mississippi State, you know, Florida, you know, it's the SEC still got teams in the area. But if I'm owner of what's the word I'm looking for? Like Delta or American Airlines or any plane company, I'm calling Cal, because it's about to be buku money. I'm about to be like, oh, goddamn. There'll be so much money. You gotta fly for every sport. Not just football, every sport, y'all have to fly across the country to play a conference game. So, I mean, money has, you know, changed. NIL's changed the sport. TV deals have changed the sport. Pac-12 real demise was it couldn't get a TV deal. The best TV deal they could get was with Apple TV, and it wasn't that great of a deal. Big 10 just signed a huge deal with Fox. SEC just signed a huge deal with ESPN. So the landscape of college football, that as people that's my age and older remember, has completely changed now. Completely changed. You don't have the same intensity of some of these rivalry games, because some of these rivalry games won't be played anymore. Oklahoma going to the SEC is no more battle at Bedlam. Oklahoma State. Still get the Red River Showdown with Texas and Oklahoma, with both of them going to the SEC. But you don't get Oregon State, Washington State, Washington. That means a lot to people in that area, you know. The big, now I guess you can create new rivalries, but it just ain't gonna feel the same, you know, having USC play Iowa in November for a Big Ten matchup. How is it called the Big Ten anymore with all these teams? Like, Like, don't you got to change the name eventually, like to something else? Like, I don't get it. At least the Pac-12 changed their name, but the Big Ten still saying the Big Ten. They got way more than 10 teams. And then the other thing, what does it do for Notre Dame? I know Notre Dame has a ton of money, have a great fan base. NBC still pays them a lot of money to show their games on Peacock and NBC. But I do think for them, if they ever want to get to a college football playoffs with the way the conference stuff is aligned, they're going to have to join a conference. Because it's going to come down to basically now conference champions are the only ones that get invited to the college football playoffs. If you're not a conference like, in order for Notre Dame to get in, they will have to schedule a crazy schedule of a bunch of ranked Power 5 teams. And then that's going to be limited because they now have more conference games that they have to play. Oh, big interception. Florida State trying to hold on. It's 10-6 with 10 minutes left. Defense is really keeping them in there. That's like their second pick. But yeah, back to Notre Dame. I know they're prideful of being independent, but it's not as many non-conference slots available for each team. So now you got to a point now where you're not even playing good teams anymore. Well, not good teams, but you're not playing the ranked powerful teams. You might be going to play a American Conference team. You might play a JMU. You might play a Marshall. You might play teams that, yeah, you get a dub. They're decent teams, but you're not getting the cliche and the resume builder to be able to make it into the college football playoffs. So what about the next couple of years? Are you going to be able to make it to the college football playoffs without a championship as an independent? Even if you're undefeated, people might say your resume is not good enough. How do you keep a Big Ten champion out? How do you keep a SEC champion out, even with one loss? Because it's like, okay, you pay more quality opponents. So something to think about. Notre Dame might have to, reevaluate how they do their things. I know they've been independent for a long time, and I know they've got plenty of money. Money is not a problem. I think Notre Dame makes almost just as much as the Big Ten Conference off football alone, which is crazy. But if they want to get back to their championship ways and hold coaches to that standard, they're probably going to have to join the conference pretty soon. Just my thoughts. But again, I don't know what I'm talking about. Celebration Bowl, SWAC championship. Florida A&M wins it 34-13 against Prairie View A&M. Really no surprises there. The punch their tickets to the Celebration Bowl against Howard. Couple thoughts on that game. Watched both teams extensively this year. Howard is a really good team. Their record don't show it. Challenged themselves a lot. Had two chances to beat one group of 5 FBS team in the MAC with Eastern Washington, and also was one play away from beating Northwestern, who made a bowl game in the Power 5 conference. So that is Howard is battle tested. I think their strength is their offensive line. They have 3 great backs with Hunter and Edgerrin James, son. I think their quarterback is seen a lot. He's a 6-year senior, Great. He can throw the football when he's focused. When Quentin sometimes is a gunslinger though. But I think if they run the football, I think they're a very physical team on both sides of the ball, defense and offense. I really think that Howard is going to be the more physical team in this battle. Not taking nothing away from FAMU. FAMU is a really good team. I think they might have a little bit more speed on the outside than Howard as far as the receivers. I think they have a good offensive line and a great offensive line. I think they have a pretty good defense. I think their secondary, the defense plays very well. Not like one individual. I think the defense plays very well, led by Isaiah Land. I think going to be a good game. I think it has a chance to get a runaway. I think, me personally, I might not like to hear it, but I don't think FAMU's really been tested all year besides when they played USF. I think in their conference, it showed with the conference championship game, they dominated all year long to only one loss all year. I think Howard has been tested in a tougher conference and tougher non-conference games where sometimes when you're like kind of just sleepwalking through the season where you're so much better than teams, when you meet a team on the same level as you in this type of environment at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, sometimes you can get punched in the mouth early and not know how to respond. I do think that FAMU is a really good team, but sometimes you always when you can turn it on whenever you want, beat some of the teams you're playing. When you play a team that's just as good as you, or maybe even better, you can't just turn it on like that. You just can't turn it on and then think you're going to catch up because this team is just as good as you, if not better. But I think it's going to be a great atmosphere. Two very strong fan bases. Two teams that haven't won a championship in a long time. I think this is both teams outright championship in 30 years. FAMU is going to travel heavy to Atlanta. I mean, that's all they've been talking about. The schedule that they made was made Atlanta or nothing. I think FAMU is going to have a great crowd at Celebration Bowl. And I really think that Howard's going to have a decent showing too. Maybe not as big as FAMU, but Howard's going to have a decent showing. I do expect for at least 35, maybe 40,000 there. I don't think to see much drop off even after the Deion years because Celebration Bowl was big before Deion got there, and it's still big now, especially when it comes to college football playoff. College football. Prediction of the game, I do think, and I'm kind of biased, not even gonna lie, but it is also rooted in the fact I do think Howard is gonna pull it out in a close game. I think Howard beats him 24-21. Low scoring game. I think Howard jumps on them early and keeps the lead the whole game. I think they run the ball. I think they run for 250 plus on FAMU. I think FAMU might have more passing yards, might have more explosive plays. But I think Howard, if everything goes to plan from what I've seen, I think they will run, have a field day running the football if they offensive linemen are healthy against FAMU. I think FAMU really needs to throw the ball well to win. I think Howard has a better defensive line than that FAMU offensive line has seen all year, and I think it's going to be tough for them to get the run game going. So the SWAC Player of the Year, Jeremy Musa, is going to have to hit open passes and make some plays, and we'll see how that goes. I think quarterbacks are a push. I think Howard has the better running back room and offensive line. I do think FAMU has the better linebackers and DBs, though. So it's going to be a good test. It's going to be a good game. I mean, it's always, the Black College National Champion between the two conferences. Winner can call themselves the Black College National Champion. So, that should be a really, really good game. Let's get into a little bit of NFL football before I go more into my other topics of college football. NFL football it's got better. I was kind of skeptical at the first part of the year. The first part of the year was so slow. It was slow. The quarterback play was horrible. The defenses were doing good, but it's like you just didn't have real competent quarterbacks on each side of the conferences. You had some good quarterbacks. Of course, you got your Lamars with balling, Jalen was doing decent, Brock Purdy was even balling a little bit, but after you got past the top tier, everybody else was looking real mediocre. But I guess now here we are in week 13, the last 3 weeks, I'm saying around week 10, people started to wake up a little bit. Offense started getting better, started actually putting up some points, and had some decent games. Thursday night game was a great game. I think Cowboys pulled it out 41-35. that was one of the first Thursday night games in a while that's really meant something to me. Because I still think that both of them are still outside contenders for the NFC. Like, you got your top tier contenders, right? You got, like, on the NFC, you know, of course, you got the Eagles, you got the Niners. Who else? Really, the Eagles and Niners are up there by themselves in the NFC. And then you got that second tier of teams where you got the Seahawks, you got the Cowboys. Yeah, see, that's really it. For our team, like the NFC, you really got the top teams in the NFC are the Niners and the Eagles, hands down. But the Cowboys and the Seahawks are lurking. I think the Seahawks kind of hit us like a little slide, but I think they still gonna do enough to get a wild card spot, and they can do some damage in the playoffs. I think Geno kind of woke up. I think they found Charbonnet can be a good spell back for Kenneth Walker. DK finally showed up. I think they should try to look for Tyler Lockett a little bit more, but the Seahawks is one of my teams I thought could get to the NFC Championship game. I think I said it in the last football pod. I think they can get there. I think that's a really all-around decent football team. They got good defense. They got a good offense. They can run the football. You know, it's just about their offense can stay consistent. And against the Cowboys, they had a great offensive showing, but defense didn't show up. Speaking of the two top teams in the NFC, the Niners and the Eagles play this week. And I think that game is at Lincoln Financial in Philly. So that already gives them an advantage when you have a West Coast team coming to the East Coast. A West Coast team coming to the East Coast always gives an advantage to the East Coast team because you're playing. They had to travel across the country, but it is a 4:00 game, so that does help them. I think it's not a 1:00 game. I think it was a 1:00 game. The Eagles probably would maybe manhandle them. I think we'll get a better game now. It's a 4:30 game, so you know it's not as rough on the West Coast team. I think that game is going to be a good game. I think it's going to come down to two things. It's going to come down to who can run the football. Can CMC go off on this Philly defense, which shows that it can be ran on if done right. You know, I'm not saying that CMC is going to go for like 150, a $150, nothing like that. But if CMC can take pressure off Brock Purdy and really get like 70 yards in the tub, maybe catch for another 20, maybe 100 all-purpose yards, then I think the Eagles might be in a little bit of trouble because now if they can run the ball, you can't unleash the pass rushers like you want, so you still have to stay in your running lanes because CMC is that much of a target. I mean, that much of a dynamic player. If you don't stay in your rush lanes and hit you with a draw play, then you watch them run into the end zone. I do think in this game, both quarterbacks are going to have to make more plays than they probably made all year. And not saying that neither has made plays all year. I think Jalen is not going to be able to wait to the end of the game to make plays. I think Jalen's going to have to make some key throws early. I'm thinking he's going to at least need about 225 passing and really open up this defense so they can run the football with DeAndre Swift. But he's going to have to make some plays with his legs and arm early for them to win this game. Can't wait to the last minute. I think Brock Purdy is going to have to stand back there and make some throws. I think Kittle's going to have to be involved because they're going to have to get the ball out quick. I think Ayuk is going to have to win his matchup, whether it's against Bradbury or Slay. And I think they're going to really have to use Debo to their full effect to really get this defense spread out and get them thinking. I think whoever gets their defensive coordinator thinking the most and making calls that he normally doesn't make will win the game. If Shanahan can make the Eagles defensive coordinator think, and you don't see that relentless rush like you normally see, and them getting after the quarterback and stuff, and they kind of sit back more in the zone, maybe not rush 4 all the time, rush 3, try to disguise more and not just rush they 4 that they have, then I think then you leave yourself open to different type of plays that normally wouldn't work against that defense. Same thing with the Eagles. If I think it's Ben Johnson, if the offensive coordinator can call some plays, get Jalen running a little bit, get Swift going, that RPO just opens up. And I think Devontae's going to have to open up the defense, take some shots. I mean, the 49ers lost their safety. So I think they're going to have to run up some shots, some big shots, like 40-yard, 50-yard shots. You know what I'm saying? But good game. I think it's going to be a great game, actually. Probably going to link with the boys and watch the game. So if you're listening to it now, I got friends on both sides of the aisle. So we'll see how it goes. Me personally, I don't give a damn too much because my team is trash and we just fired another coach. So if you know the whole dynamic of that, then you know what team I'm talking about, because we're not going to talk about them. All I know is that, I just need the owner to. You should let it go, bro. Let the football people make decisions, man. And that brings me into my next topic about fired coaches, man. Fired coaches. Man, for both brands of football, for NFL and college football. NFL, I'm just gonna say my part. Me being the Panthers fan, I never thought we should have hired Frank Reich to begin with. I think we should have stayed with Steve Wilks, who went 6-6 in them last 12 games after you already made the bad hire of Matt Rule. I'm not saying that Matt Rule wasn't to take a chance on Matt Rule, that we gave that man $70-something million, and we're still paying them. We're still paying Matt Rule while he's at Nebraska. And now we go hire Frank Reich, who just got fired from the Colts, who had a decent tenure at the Colts. But you had the man Steve Wilks there, who's now the defensive coordinator at the 49ers, and they're balling at 1-6 games. You trade away DJ Moore, traded away CMC. I got that. CMC was a hit on the salary cap. CMC was a running back. He was getting older. And contrary to people's belief, we really was what I'm looking for. CMC really wasn't healthy this much until now. He was way injury prone at Carolina for the past 3 years. Now he's healthy. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing what happens when you leave Charlotte. Sometimes you just become a better person, I guess. I don't know. The Panthers just can't get it right. But he left CMC. CMC left. We got rid of him. Got it. Cap money. You know what I'm saying? We find another running back, right? But the DJ Moore trade to get the first pick to get Bryce Young is crazy to me. You trade the target that the young quarterback needed, and then you throw him to the Wolves, and now he looks horrible because his number one receiver is Adam Thielen. He's never been a number one, even when he was at Minnesota. And then something Mingo. I mean, he looks good. He's a young player too, but we just have all kind of problems. And then you compile that by firing a man halfway through his first season. Why? Who we want to get now? And now I'm hearing things of like Kellen Moore and Ben Johnson. We're going to fire Frank Reich to get Kellen Moore? He's making Herbert look horrible. Dak looks better since Kellen Moore left. But not us, not in Charlotte. That's what we need. We take trash and it stays trash. I guess. I don't know. But so firing coaches in the NFL, most time we don't see it mid-season like that. But I guess our new owner said. I mean, what can I say? What can I say to him? What can I say? And then on the college ranks, we got some firings that we kind of knew was going to happen. Jimbo, This wasn't working out at Texas A&M. Didn't really take Texas A&M to the heights they thought they would be taken to, and the 5 and 6 seasons. But he getting the money though. They gotta pay him like, brother. He just signed a contract. They gotta owe him like $68 million. Man, I'm in the wrong profession, man. I like my job, man. I should have worked harder and became a coach, man. It ain't gotta be good to get bread. You know what I'm saying? Get to that point, team be trash. I can sit at the crib, collect $3-4 million over a couple of years. Bruh. Like, I'm in the wrong profession. But yeah, they got rid of Jimbo Fisher. Houston got rid of Dana Holmgren. I think that's the name. He left West Virginia after them good years at West Virginia. Could never find his footing in Houston, which was crazy to me. I felt like Houston is a better market to recruit at, but like I guess it's harder to recruit in Texas than people think. Who else got fired? The Oregon State coach went to Michigan State. I think that's a great hire for Michigan State. Somebody that worked in the area, such as Oregon State, where not a lot of players are there, and recruiting. He built Oregon State to like a really good Pac-12 team. It's a good hire for Michigan State. They could have went the celebrity route, but they stayed the course and they went and hired them an actual football coach. So I think this will help them in the long run. It's kind of unfortunate what happened to Mel Tucker, but got to be more careful than that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a good hire. Duke is now looking for a coach because their coach went to Texas A&M. Not surprised that he left Duke so early. I mean, Duke is in North Carolina, but it's a private school and it's hard to recruit there. And Texas A&M got more money. Let's keep it in a buck. You know what I'm saying? Texas money is different. No state taxes. And he was on the coaching staff for like 8 years as a D coordinator, or a defensive coach. I don't know, the coordinator. So, not surprised that he left Duke so early. Hopefully, Duke can find another coach. JMU coach left town real quick. Took the Indiana job. Now, why would he do that? JMU had a great year this year, but I've been telling people that COVID year and all these medical red shirts, some of these kids just gotta let it go, man. You like 7-8 year seniors, and JMU had a lot of 6 or 7 year seniors on their team. I don't think they're gonna. All them gotta go. I don't think they're gonna be that great next year. No, I really don't. So the man saw the writing on the wall, saw a Power 5 job, took Indiana's job. I mean, I'm not surprised at him. I would take the Indiana job. All I gotta do is win 6-7 games a year. 6-7 games a year. Make a bowl game. They'll be okay if I go 4-5. Like the last man went there, only got fired because he only won 2 games in the past, like 2 games a year for the past 3 years. But before that, all he won was 6, 5, 7. Recruited Michael Penix. It would have been better if Michael Penix would have stayed and he get injured all them years. He was almost, I think he hurt himself 3 times while at Indiana. So sometimes some programs are just easier to coach at, when the expectations are not there. Sometimes you can just sit there and be 7-4, 6-5, 8-3 once in a while. Compete for a conference championship. Look at the man in Iowa. He's been there for forever. Them teams be basic. Offense. They still run the same offense they ran in the 80s. But they ain't even talking about getting rid of that man. That man hired his son as the OC. But he wins. He wins 7 to 8 games a year. All Iowa ever wanted. They know they're not national championship contenders. Ain't no football players like that in Iowa. We talked about that last pod. Like the recruiting is not there. So a lot of coaches jump ship, and a lot of fan bases gotta be prepared that their team, just because you're good one year don't mean you're gonna be good every year. Some people you just are who you are. You got the national powers, then you got the team that's good because it's an era that that coach was able to bring in good players. Y'all was able to win. But, JMU next year might be a little rough for you. I have to rebuild a little bit, but that's okay. It'd be like ODU. They've been rebuilding ever since Tyler Hinkie left. Still trash. It's been a minute. So I think ODU only since they moved up to FBS and made the one bowl game. That's crazy. Probably should have stayed in FCS. The last thing I want to get into before I get out of here, with this good episode of IDK Sports Pod, don't forget to check us out on IDK Sports Pod 23 on Instagram, and don't forget to like and follow wherever you get your podcast at, Apple Pod or Spotify podcast. Don't forget you can DM me, ask me any questions. Hit me up. We can talk about your topic on the show. Definitely got some things in store. A little bit better equipment now. A little bit, you know what I'm saying? Might have some video content coming. Maybe some watch parties for some bowl games coming. Interviews coming. We got a lot of things in the works that I'm trying to work on. Started this about 3 months ago, and it became a passion now. So we're gonna keep moving forward. So definitely support the channel. And all I need when it comes to support is just for you to go to your Apple Pod or Spotify and just hit subscribe. And listen, I'm not asking for any money. Didn't ask for no Patreon or Cash App or nothing like that. Just go listen to your boy. Hit the like button, tell it to your friends, mama, cousin, brother, anybody. And let them know, there's a guy out here talking real sports for, the average person, bringing back barbershop talk to the spot. Not spot. What I'm talking about. See, I told you it's late. The podcast world, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to have any crazy takes. I'm trying to give you a little bit about my opinion, a little bit about my thought process, and then, also give you some good content, every now and again, but don't take me too serious because I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, let's get into my final topic today. My final topic today is the transfer portal. Boy, some of y'all schools is nervous, ain't you? Some of y'all got some fired a coach because of it. Might have shouldn't have fired that coach. Some of y'all got players. The transfer portal, I think, opens up Tuesday. I think December 5th. Early signing period is December 16th. That's when you want to get most of your boys because you want them to get in and be able to play spring ball, in spring camp and go through spring ball so you can get ready for the season. You want to get committed, but that transfer portal, boy, it's getting hit. Some of y'all teams just, in the locker room just looking around like, some of y'all teams is really, really looking lonely out here. Transfer portal getting deep. And I'm talking about with starters. Not to be funny, and I know my parents probably hate me, but A&T only has one quarterback on the roster. The other three hit the transfer portal. Hey, you got to get out there and recruit heavy. And I'm not just talking about for HBCUs, all schools. This transfer portal is a different beast, and it can change you from fame to fortune quickly. Now, you still got to have, me personally, I still think you got to have like a balance between high school players, transfer portal, JUCO. You know what I'm saying? But if you're a team that's like decent, like say I got everything, but I need like that one playmaker receiver or a couple playmaker DB. What's in this portal for you? You just got to find it. You got to recruit. You got to even recruit back your own team. You got to recruit your own team. Because if you don't, you could be sitting there having a whole new team next year of young players, and you can't get better. So you gotta recruit your team, keep your guys there. So, so you can build that continuity between your players. But that transfer portal is heavy. That rule that came out and said if you want a good quarterback, between 1.4 million, 1 million and 4 million for NIL. I told y'all once this NIL hit full effect and the transfer portal hit full effect, it is wild, wild west out there. And you hope your coaches know how to navigate it, because if you got one that don't, you're gonna get left behind. Talking about, oh, if you got a coach talking about, oh, I'll go to transfer portal, all I get is, I'm gonna build a program. If players want to go, they can go. I'm not taking any players back. Gonna be looking real lonely in the locker room because guys are gonna test the water. It's basically like college free agency. Now, a lot of players need to be very careful because if you don't got no offer, put it like this: if you a transfer and you ain't got no offers in December, you might be left out in the cold. You might want to call your coach back and say, "Hey, I made a mistake. Can I come back?" Because if you go out in that portal and when this portal open, you don't have 3-4 offers off the rip, then that means that you wasn't as good as you thought you was. You know, you wasn't. Think you better just let it go and come back. Be that practice player. Work to get on the field because everybody is not going to come in and be starters, right? Everybody can't. Everybody can't. Everybody can't come be starters, but transfer portal also can bring fortune. It's a couple players that I'm looking at, a couple quarterbacks, in the HBCU round, a couple of big time players on the FBS round. Like I think Cameron Ward from Washington State is going to be a highly touted transfer. Wouldn't be surprised if he comes back to the SEC or Big 12, the Texas kid. A couple of HBCU guys that might get some Power 5 on. Two from Alabama State, which their team should have been better, but Keyshawn Johnson, the receiver, he's probably going to be a Power 5 commit. And Maddox, the corner, 6'1", 195, I think, big corner. He's probably going to get a Power 5 FBS offer as well. So, it's the new age of college football that we're in. This is the age of, what can you do for me now? And colleges are having to adjust. Transfer portal is basically a new free agency and basically letting players negotiate. You get one free one, and grad transfers can transfer anytime after you graduate. And you get to be able to transfer if your coach leaves for free. Another free one where you can go play. Now, any other time you transfer outside of those three things, then, you got to sit out a year. But a lot of players are, a lot of players are testing the waters, seeing what they get offered. And alumni just got to understand that. There's no loyalty. These players are loyal to coaches, and these players are trying to do what's best for themselves. All you can do is wish them the best and, move forward with who your coach brings in or who your coach has. That's all you can do. I'm not going to hate on the kid because, he wants to go somewhere else or get a different point of view. I mean, a different viewpoint, but the grass ain't always green on the other side. Somebody did tell me that. So, don't get stuck out. I'm just telling these players, don't listen to everybody. Don't get stuck out here. And here it is, damn, they're about to be first semester. I mean, like end of the spring semester. You ain't got no offers. You just looking like, and then you just sitting there, And coaches, try to get out there and re-recruit your players. The other coaches are coming to get them, especially if they know they can play. It's kind of like the job force now. Nobody wants to train and develop. Everybody wants the person to come, hit, ready to go. Game time experience. So, you know what I'm saying? That's my thoughts on it. Like I said, great week of college football. Good games on Sunday. Definitely going to be checking some games out on Sunday. Because like I said, the Eagles 49ers play on Sunday. Who else got a good game? Chiefs and Packers is the Sunday night game. The Bengals and the Jaguars. You know, not too many games. Like I said, the highlight is going to be that 49ers game versus the Eagles. That's the highlight. Really only the game worth watching. Everybody else, it's going to be. It's going to be close because it's the NFL, but every other game, pretty decent game. But the big highlight game was at 4:25 on Fox. The Eagles versus the Niners. See how that goes. Definitely will be watching. Probably put a parlay or two in. If you know, you know. But congratulations to all the conference champions this week. Congratulations. It's not easy to be a champion. Everybody can't be it. So as long as y'all live, y'all will always be champions. You always have that bond between each other. So, it should always be applauded. Everybody can win a national championship. Everybody can be a conference championship. And sometimes I think in media, we overlook the importance of a conference championship to players. That's what you come in the season to win. The national championship, yeah, you can say it, but you come in the season to win your conference. Because that's exactly what you can control. You play everybody. Everybody knows you play. Look like, as I'm talking, Florida State, like they're about to wrap up an undefeated season and win the ACC championship. So it's going to get interesting tomorrow at noon for this college football playoff. It's going to be rough. Let's see what happens. I personally think Florida State has to get in. If they don't, it's SEC bias, and you're going to hear a lot of uproar about it. But 13-0, just beat Louisville 16-6. Congratulations to Florida State. Win the ACC title. Had a good year, came in with the expectations, and they won it. So, shout out to them. So, not going to talk too much more on this pod. We're talking, y'all been hearing my voice for about an hour. If you're listening today, I appreciate it. If you're a first-time listener, I truly appreciate it. If you're a reoccurring listener, I appreciate it 2 times. Don't forget to tell your friends, mama, cousin, anybody that IDK Sports Pod is the podcast, the premier podcast. We're talking sports with the average guy. Don't forget to subscribe on Apple Pod, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts at. Subscribe so you get all the links, all the notifications and links that when I drop. You know what I'm saying? You get to see if I drop some bonus content. You even get to see if I get to drop some video content because that might be coming soon. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at IDK Sports Pod 23. We drop every Sunday. Every Sunday, you'll see a new pod. So, thank you for listening. Until next time, I'm going to holler at you.